Hello friends, and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now, last episode we made even more progress in the EA Farm mod pack here. We grew a whole bunch of fruits and turned them into fruit juice, and we also built this lovely gazebo you can see right over my shoulder here. Today, we're going to be taking a bunch of those fruits and turning them into a variety of different new desserts so that we can enjoy them. So, with no further ado, let's dive right in. So I did make a couple of other minor improvements around the farm here. I continued with the fence lines, I added more planking, but I also took all of these extra seeds coming from our wheat farm that we're using for our avocado toast factory, and taking those and putting them into the basement here, where I've created a small itsy bitsy seed oil press. So right here, we're taking the extra seeds, we're turning them into seed oil, and that's going into the bottom of our soy factory. Now that's then being used to power our blaze burner with seed oil, instead of just with our regular coal and charcoal that was going in there. So this will give us access to all of the seed oil that we will need, and that means we've been able to upgrade our production of tofu significantly. You can see here we have over, what is that, 2,775 pieces of tofu now? That is a large amount. Did just a little bit of decorating, and I also had to increase the size of the water wheel to accommodate all of that additional load. I've also gone ahead and extended our factory where we are doing our pressing of juice so that the actual bottling facility can be put right on the back of that through here. So I've taken the entire setup from last episode and basically compacted it down into this tiny space, and now we can do bottling of juices very, very quickly and easily in this area. This is of course our emptying facility for when we have bottles that we need to empty back out instead. So this wall actually holds all of our juices, and then our controller is right here that we can then filter to pull whatever we need out of it into our bottler. So that works pretty nicely for us. Back here at our kitchen, you'll notice a couple of upgrades, or at least those of you who've been watching carefully will notice a few upgrades. One, we have pipes here in the floor now, and that goes to an infinite water source that's being piped from underground here. So there's a little pool of water, a nice sterile pool for those of you who I know are going to make that sort of comment. So now we can pump the water directly up from underground into our basin if we want to make any recipes that require that, which we are going to need in the near future. Now, we've also added this little mini annex to the back of our kitchen so that we can actually set up some crushing wheels here, because we need to do a whole bunch of bulk creation of cornstarch in the very near future, and this is going to be the easiest way to do that. So let's go ahead and throw our crushing wheels on there, and we have our fast hopper there, and now we just need to set the input for that. We are just going to use a chute, and we should be able to put a barrel on top of that. I don't think I have any barrels. Let's go ahead and buy one real quick here. Right there. Great. Now we can put a barrel on top. Barrels are good because you can open them even if there's a block on top. So this is now going to be our bulk crushing station for producing things like cornstarch. Let's grab up all of the corn kernels that we have left at this point, or at least most of them. Nah, let's just do all of them. We're going to do every corn kernel that we have in the set, and let's go ahead and put all of that into our crushing wheels. And there we go. I had to make some minor tweaks to the directionality of how these were going. With those changes, this is now producing a lot of corn flour, as you can see right there, very, very quickly for us. So once the corn flour is done, we will then be able to put this through a second time and turn it into our cornstarch. So let's just start pulling some of that out, and we'll throw it back up in here, and that will slowly but surely be turning into cornstarch as well in just a second. Yeah, there we go, cornstarch, excellent. So let me go ahead and process this entire batch, and then we'll be ready to move on to the next step. All right, so we now have a boatload of cornstarch, probably more than we're actually going to need, but maybe not. So the next quests we are going to be tackling here are going to be these gummies. So gummies are made basically with a slime ball, sugar, and apples. And so the slime balls we are going to be making here in our mixer with cornstarch and water. So I'm going to set up another mixer right here on this side. Let's go back to our tool section and buy that up real quick. We need the mechanical mixer for that. We are going to need a mechanical basin for that. I guess it's just a basin for that. And then we are also going to need one burner for that, blaze burner in hand. Now, I wired up our pipes underneath the house here. So this universal pipe is connected to our main water supply over on the other side of the building. The blue pipe here is going to be for our seed oil coming from our seed oil facility. You can actually hear it in the background over there. We are catching up on a backlog of seed oil at this point. Now, we do need to go ahead and buy ourselves up one straw for that, so it'll get blazing. And it looks like that is the wrong pipe. What are you doing? Don't connect there. That's not what we want. All right, there we go. With only a few little tweaks, we got that working. Let's go ahead and put our pipes back in place. And of course, we will need to tell this, please do not insert into there. And hopefully this will only have water in it. Now we'll take our basin and we'll connect this back up. We do want water in this. That is correct. We like that. And now all we have to do is put our mechanical mixer right on top. There we go, and it is spinning with the gearbox and cogwheel that we put in the wall there. So all we have to do now is actually start adding our cornstarch to this and then pulling it back out. So to do that, let's go ahead and set ourselves up a couple of barrels here, and then we need to grab an item pipe and put here to pull back out. So just like that. We will want to go ahead and pull from this container as well. And now with that done, we should be able to start filling this with cornstarch. So let's fill up our inventory, put all of our cornstarch in here, and that should now start making for us our slime balls. Yes, they are. We just need to tell this to lock slime balls so that it actually only makes slime balls, and then this extra cornstarch should stop coming in here momentarily, I thought. So to keep the slime balls from coming in there, we need to grab ourselves up here an improved pipe upgrade. The regular pipe upgrade does not work for that. Improved, there we go. And I think we should now be able to set the, oh, we can't set a whitelist even with that? All right, what about ultimate? Ultimate we can definitely filter. So let's make sure that we are only whitelisting our slime balls. There we go. Perfect. Now I should be able to pull out all of our starch, and that should only be worrying about slime balls in here from here on out. It looks like that's exactly what is going on. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to let this percolate for a while. Now, the other thing we're going to need a absolutely boatload of is going to be sugarcane. So we need to put ourselves a sugarcane farm together, and then a way to process all of this into actual sugar. So let's grab up a bunch of sugarcane, and we will head back to our automated farm section and set up a sugarcane farm. So a sugarcane mechanical farm is basically just like all of our other mechanical farms. The only difference here is that it basically needs to be one level higher because we don't want to cut down the bottom tier. We just want to do the second tier and above. Then all we have to do here is add on our normal accoutrement. We need to add a chest on top here for our storage, just like that. And then we need to also add our portable storage interface right here on this side, but we need to turn that around to face the right direction. The last piece of the puzzle is that our actual portable storage interface needs to pull out here just one level higher than it normally does. So right on this block, and then of course we then rotate this around just like so. When we turn this on, it should be fired up and it should start then pulling in our storage. Oh, except for one important fact, we forgot to glue it together. That's not going to work until we glue it together. All right, let's take our glue here onto this piece. We'll put the glue onto there, and then we glue this thing to that thing, just like this, and here. All right, so this now should be glued up and ready to go. Yes, it is. That's what we like to see. Now, there isn't any place for our sugarcane to go right now because it's part of this section, but we do not have an actual box for it. So let's head all the way back over here to our array. We need to grab ourselves up a single oak drawer. We've got a bunch of those laying around. We'll put this right here on this system, put some sugarcane in it, and then we just need to lock this up real fast. That being locked, we can now go ahead and turn this back into a linking tool, and there we will add this box to the system. All right, great. And now our sugarcane should eventually start to flow in here, no problem. And there we go. Slowly but surely, we are getting sugarcane into our sugarcane farm box. So that will give us all the sugar that we need in a very long time. Unfortunately, sugarcane does not grow nearly as quick as our other crops, so we are going to have to wait a little while. Apparently, again, the Terra Preta underneath here is not having any influence on that sugarcane. So we will potentially have to torque to grow or do something else to make that work for us. Alright, so we are at a whole boatload of slime balls. The good news here is that we can also use sugarcane in these crushing wheels to make our sugar. So that is an excellent source of sugar for us. I think we get at least 2 to 1, is that right, off the crushing wheel? At least, and occasionally we will get a third piece. So that should be a very efficient recipe for us. We just need to keep working through all the rest of this cornstarch in our machine, making a boatload of slime balls. Now while we wait for that, there's no reason we can't get started on some of our cooking recipes here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab up a stack of slime balls and a stack of our sugar. And it looks like I lost a slime ball along the way. That is not a hard problem to fix. I think I accidentally threw it at the ground. We're going to come out here and we're going to grab the first of our gummies. I think apple is the first that's on the list here. We get rid of these extra berries we keep picking up as we're walking by everything. We just need to grab some apples here. I've only got 14 though, so I am going to need to grab an apple sapling. Oh, no, never mind. It looks like I had a bunch of stacks of apples left that I completely forgot about. Let's put you all back in here so I don't forget about you again. And now we can head back to our test kitchen to do the rest of our cooking of our gummies, or at least get started on the cooking of our gummies. So again, gummies only take 3 ingredients, and they are right here: a slime ball, fruit, and sugar. The only other thing we need to do is, of course, to heat that up so it will cook. So let's go down here and find that little slot. That should start turning this into our apple gummies. Yes, it is. And hopefully in a very short period of time, we will have a full stack, and that will knock off the first section of quest. The next ones here are going to be melon and strawberry, and then we work our way all the way down the list. Now, we can do all of these 4 to start. Apple is not actually a dependency here. The only thing that is the dependency is our other flavors quest. So we can start working on all of these. So maybe I'll go get my melon bits. This uses melon slices, and we can start preparing for that. Well, our sugar is becoming a bottleneck rapidly here, so I think I'm going to go ahead and try and set up a sprinkler system. This is a little different than the older versions of Cyclic where we would have infinite amounts of water here. Unfortunately, in this version, we have a need to have water going into it at all times. So if I put that there, you can see this just drains the water directly out from underneath. And of course our Terra Preta is doing us no good at this point. So I need to figure out a way to get this so that I have both water in here and also the sprinkler constantly being filled. So let me see if I can't figure this out real quick. Alright, so I've dropped down underneath our farm here and I've put 4 strategically located pipes coming up, fluid pipes for us. Now, I think what we can do here, I tried testing this out really quickly, we can grab up a large water wheel and put it right here underneath the water, or excuse me, underneath the ground, and then run water along the bottom. That'll give us a source of power. Then, if we start hooking this up to a gearbox, we should be able to use that to actually power some pipes off of this. So we can do something like this here, and then do some pipes that'll be an infinite source of water for us, maybe somewhere like around here. That infinite source of water we can then use to flow into these pipes here without too much trouble. Let's just carve out a little more space here because I think I actually want to move where I'm putting this to somewhere like right here. And that'll make it a little easier for us to do this. Let's grab back up this bucket of water so that we can make our infinite source, and then we can use the extra water that creates to continue to power our water wheel. So that'll work nicely for us. Now, the only remaining trick here is that we are going to need to put it in some sort of a fluid container because pipes do not connect directly to our fluid pipes. So those things need to be connected like that, and then we just need some cogs to connect this up. So let me see if I can't get this figured out real quick. We will just have to go ahead and buy ourselves some more small cog wheels to put all of this together. And of course, once again, our inventory is getting very, very full. Alright, after staring at this problem for a few minutes, this seems to be the most efficient way to get this all in such a compact little space. We have a giant water wheel here along with a rotational speed controller set to 128 RPM. That's drawing into our fluid drawer here, and now with any luck we should be able to wrench this to get our water out, and this should stay full just like that. great. And if we've done everything exactly how we should be able to put down our sprinkler right on top here. So let's put this into place, and that should start just watering everything around it. We're going to put a couple more into place just to speed things up even further. One there, and one on each side basically is what we were aiming for. Wait for this thing to swing past me before I try to put it in place. There we go, and the last one will go right here. Great. Now, with any luck, these sprinklers will now be getting, yes, enough water to be able to keep up, and those should now increase the growth speed of all of the items around it. So it looks like things are growing marginally faster, but not as much as I would have expected by having all of these various sprinklers on here. So I think sugarcane might just be a case where twerk to grow is going to be the most efficient way for us to do things, just to get back up to the amount of sugarcane that we're going to need here for this set of quests. But I think if I leave this going while I'm building other things between episodes, that we should get up to enough sugar very, very quickly. The moral of the story is I really should have set this farm up when I was doing my wheat farms about 4 or 5 episodes ago. That would have put us in a much better position, and I wouldn't be out of sugar so close to the end of the pack. Alright, so let's keep working on our gummies. We have our apple gummies all done. That completes that quest. We are going to get started on our melon gummies. We have everything that we need for that, because I was able to slice up some melons in our chest. While that's going, let's go ahead and sell off these gummies here. That is actually in the cafe section because it is a sweet dessert, and we can sell it right here for 2 iron coins. Not too shabby. All right, and now we can keep working our way down our list of quests here. Let's go back and see what's next. Okay, so melon is in process. I'm gonna grab some strawberries, some pomegranate, and it looks like some limes as well. Yes, all right. I'll grab those up and we will get started on the next set. Well, I just found a bug in the pack. Apparently the Create Central Kitchen recipe for melon juice is still in here, although it shouldn't be. I don't see it here in the list, but for some reason it's still showing up, and that means when I put these into the mixer, it's accidentally creating melon juice. That's not what we want. So instead what we need to do is really quickly cook up on our stove a batch of melon juice. Now, our kitties are being told to sit nicely and not get on the counters right now, so we should be able to cook this in here without it causing any trouble. So let's just throw in our 3 ingredients, and very quickly that'll give us 1 gummy. Then with that 1 gummy, we can lock the recipe into our actual basin, and then we won't have any problems with melon gummies anymore. All right, great. So we take this back, and this will be the one that we use to lock the recipe. And I will fix this between episodes in the pack, so anybody playing in the future will not have this problem. All right, and there's all of our melon gummies. I'm slicing up some pomegranates for our pomegranate gummies, and we are gonna go ahead and start on the strawberry gummies and our lime gummies as discussed. And there we go. With any luck, this should start turning into strawberry gummies. They are. Let's take our melon gummies and collect those for our quest. That's the second one there. And then we can sell this at the cafe as well. Alright, we are about 1/3 of the way through our gummy process at this point, and we do need to take a break here to talk about a couple of the more complicated ones. First of all, the vanilla gummies are relatively straightforward, but I did want to call out that the dried vanilla pods are needed here, which means we need to take regular vanilla pods and throw them in our smoker. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. We will come right over here. Whoops, nope, not one at a time. We want to do a whole stack, being very careful to throw it right onto the rails. There we go, and those are going to get started smoking. So for our next one, we are going to make chocolate gummies, and that means we need bars of chocolate. Bars of chocolate we actually make by creating chocolate fluid and then smooshing the chocolate fluid in the compactor into a bar of chocolate. Now to make the actual liquid chocolate, we need sugar, cocoa beans, and soy milk. So let's wire this up here. That will give us our fluid for our soy milk out of the container. We'll put another chest right here so that we can pull ingredients out, And into that, we are going to put our cocoa beans and start pulling those, and then our sugar as well. So with any luck, we'll have all 3 ingredients in here just like that. And then when we heat this up, it should, hopefully, with any luck, make our chocolate for us. There we go. A couple of those. And yes, indeed, that is making chocolate. Wonderful. Okay, so now what we can do is lock the chocolate by taking a bucket out. Oh, nope, stop. You are not doing the thing I need you to do. All right, that started making ice cream mix. That is a problem. We need to get in here instead and pull that out and only make our chocolate. So we need to very, very quickly get on top of this the next time. So let me get this reset up real fast, and hopefully we can prevent it from doing that by grabbing 1 bucket of chocolate out before it can make anything else. So we do this, we wait. As soon as that's done, there we go, we break it. Now we can get our chocolate, now we can lock it, and now we can make sure that chocolate is being pulled into our next container right here. So we can see soy milk is being pulled in, but that's because we haven't actually locked the recipe. So let's throw an ultimate pipe on here, upgrade, just like that. We will whitelist, and here we are going to add our chocolate. Alright, so with that set, it should only pull chocolate into here now, and when we turn this back on, hopefully, with any luck, it will not make the wrong thing now. There we go. So that's chocolate. Chocolate is coming into here. That's what we like to see. And now we can put our mechanical press on there to make more chocolate. Now there is the chance that we might accidentally melt the chocolate into regular chocolate again. So we need to again make a filtered chocolate gummy real quick, and the easiest way to do that again is to cook one up in our kitchen. So let's go back to our house and just cook up the one on the stove real quick, just long enough for us to get a filter here. So let's do one of these, no, not that, one of these and one of these, and that will make our chocolate gummy for us. Then we will be ready to put our chocolate gummy into the mixer. And there, perfect. All right, and that should be the last of our gummies coming in here. Let's go ahead and add all of these to our inventory here. And with that, we have completed the entire gummy section of the quest. Wonderful. All right, so with the gummies done, we are on to some more interesting desserts from here. We're gonna really start getting into our pies and our cakes and all of that good stuff. But all that's going to start next episode. We're going to hold out the end of this episode of Enterprise Architecture, so thanks again for watching, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends!